For this next graph, we have a flip to deal with because there's a negative in front, so we'll deal with that a little bit later. First, let's find this information. The period is going to be pi divided by the number in front of the x. So it's going to be pi divided by 3 is your period. For the phase shift, it's always opposite sign of c over b. So we're going to do positive pi over 2 divided by 3. We can flip and multiply that, and that's going to give us pi over 2 times 1/3, which means that we get pi over 6 as the phase shift. For the half point, we have to take our period and divide by 2. If you do pi over 3, divide that by 2, and do the same thing, flip and multiply, coincidentally, we get the same answer, pi over 6 for the half point. Now, the way this is going to show up on the graph when we do that, first of all, right here is going to be the phase shift that we're going to put. That's pi over 6. But then we have dotted line here. We have one here. We have another place. This is the x-intercept here. And then we have another dotted line there. So whenever you find tangent, you're always finding this location right here. It's always going to be right between the two first and second vertical asymptotes that you have there. In order to find this one and this one, what we need to do first, and I'm going to go ahead and just make a little bit more room here. This is going to be pi over 6. So we need to take pi over 6 minus the half point, and then we're going to add the half point over here. So we're going to take, first of all, pi over 6, and we're going to subtract the half point from it. That's going to give you 0, which means this is 0. So actually we can make this solid because we know that's going to be the actual y axis that we have there. To find this next one, we're going to take the phase shift, pi over 6, and we're going to add a half point to it, which is also pi over 6. So we're going to add a pi over 6 to that, and we get 2 pi over 6. Again, no need to worry about reducing these. I'm just going to keep them there to make it easier for adding. And all we're going to do is just keep adding pi over 6, add pi over 6 to here, and add pi over 6 to there to get the other 2 points. What that'll look like written down is pi over 6, 2 pi over 6 plus pi over 6 is going to give you 3 pi over 6 is going to be right here. Add another one of those, we're going to get 4 pi over 6 here. Again, don't worry about reducing those. So now we have all of our key points that are needed. Next thing we want to do is take care of the minus 3. Now remember the way these work here with that, I'll put some markings down there on the axis. Normally the graph will go this direction. However, the negative here flips the graph over the horizontal axis, which means the graph is actually going to fall. So the way that's going to work is the halfway point between 0 and pi over 6, that's actually going to be right here. At that point, the halfway point between each of these, that's going to cross down there at that point. Okay, so as you can see here, the graph is actually going this direction. It's falling as you go from left to right. Again, it's because of the negative there that causes that. So the similar thing happens over here. The halfway point is going to give you 1 point up there, and it's going to give you another point that's going to be down here. So again, we have the same thing again. The graph is kind of doing something like this. It's a stretch, so that's why it's stretched out more than that usual cube shape, but that's approximately what it's going to look like. So again, negative on the outside, you have to flip the graph over the horizontal axis.